Welcome back to another Streams, Pods, and God segment. I'm Francisco Ruiz of the Retro Rewind podcast. Tonight I'm playing Enter the Gungeon while we do this segment. Not doing great because my thumb is still healing, but it's a fun game. I enjoy playing it. But that's not why you're here. You're here to hear how I answer your questions, which I take live at twitch.tv/RetroRewindPod on Monday nights. So if you have questions for me to answer, you can be live and ask them then. It can be anything related to podcasting, streaming, or I'm a Christ follower, so related to that. I'm a lay person when it comes to theology, but I do my best to be informed of theology, if that's a way to put it. So I will do my best to answer any question in any of those realms. So tonight we have a question that came from Lopan the Man, who's actually here now in chat. And he said, and I'm going to have to do it by memory because I had to restart my computer earlier. I can talk about that if you want to know. But he said something to the effect of, how do I balance, and this is similar to a question we got last week, but how do I balance family with podcasting and streaming and all this stuff I do? How do I find that balance? Well, for streaming, the main way I do it is that I typically only stream after my children are in bed, and then on nights when my wife Christy is in martial arts class. She's currently a black belt, going for her second degree black belt. So that's when I stream, is when I'm not taking as much time away from her and I, and not taking time away from our kids. I have dabbled in streaming in the morning. That's another time that's possible, though that's a bit harder because I'm talking like this during the stream. I'm doing my Bob Ross impression pretty much with the happy little pixels. But so that's how I balance streaming. Now podcasting, that's actually something that once we've done the main recording, I can do a lot of the editing and making artwork and stuff like that. Early in the morning, this is the real key. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning most mornings, and that's how I'm able to accomplish most of the stuff I do. I guess I'll kneel and get cursed. Great, that's wonderful. Shadows grow darker. Well, that's not good. I see. That's what happens when you get cursed. You fall in water. Anyway, so long story short, too late. Lopan the Man. To how I maintain that balance is streaming when it's not taken away from my family relationships, and doing podcast work by waking up early and doing it then. I do it on sometimes if I have ran out of time in the morning or the kids wake up too early or things like that. I will do it other times of the day or in the evening. Like tonight, I still have our Close Encounters of the Third Kind podcast to edit, so I'm probably going to work on that a bit after this. Oh no, I have it edited. I just need to work on the artwork. That's what it is. So that's the best answer I have to balance, is trying to wake up early and also try to prioritize. Don't just, when it comes to streaming anyway, don't just stream when it's going to be at the negation? I don't know what the word for that is. The neglect of your family. Okay, so next question comes from Geek Devotions. How did you set up and maintain your website? Ooh, that's been quite the genesis. Like currently we're on a version 3, kind of version 4 of the website. And if you're familiar with the website Wayback Machine, which internetarchive.org maintains, you can actually go back and see what the Retro Rewind podcast site used to look like. My goodness. So when I originally was going to have it as a network, okay, well, let me just answer your question succinctly. And if you'd like me to elaborate, I can do that. What it used to be was on WordPress. I eventually moved off of WordPress to a self-hosted WordPress. Then it was a self-hosted. What was the name of that? It was this essentially this content management system that generated all the HTML, because I was having some issues with WordPress getting hacked, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I found a solution to use this backend software that would essentially generate all the HTML files. So every time there's an update, it would regenerate all the HTML files. And you wouldn't have to do really that manually. That was part of the program. It did all that. But it was through console command, and I couldn't schedule anything. So each morning I had to wake up super early to post an episode when it was episode. Like, that was the first thing I had to do. And sometimes there'd be issues with that, and it's quite the headache. At this point, I am currently on a content management system called GRAV, which is similar. It's like the best of both worlds between that last version I was using and also WordPress. Like, for instance, I can schedule things. There's a lot of plugins I can use, though some of them have slowed down the site. Am I out of rooms? Okay, no, I thought there were plenty more rooms here. And so that's how I set it up and maintain it. In terms of designing it, that's just what my schooling was in. It was in web design. So I designed it trying to think of people that would come to it first, like trying to make sure as soon as people get there, they can hit play right away and listen, making that really easy. Or even if you go to any of our episodes, there's a play button right over the artwork, so it's really easy to just start listening right away. That's the main thing I'm concerned with, people coming to a podcast episode. Also trying to find different episodes and trying to promote user interaction. So those are the main things I was thinking of when I put myself in the frame of mind of someone visiting the site. So that's believe it or not, condensed version of how I set up and maintain it. And then, so Geek Devotion says, Chrissy could beat up Jet Li and Jackie Chan while making Jean-Claude Van Damme server tea. She says, that's so sweet, but no. Not yet. Maybe in 3 years. Only 3. Just be 3. Come back then. What's it? Whoa, what is this thing? Shotgun full of love. Kill with kindness. It shoots stars, rainbows, and teddy bears. I love it. This game. Oh my goodness. So Lopan the Man said, awesome. Thanks, Francisco. Of course. So, and if there's any other questions, I'll be... Can you ask something? Sure.
You asked about emails and stuff.
Oh, that was that was Lopan the Man that asked.
I just wanted to add my... Am I close enough to the microphone? Hello. I wanted to add my 2 cents about his balancing everything. He's really getting really good at communicating and double checking in with me, and has been practicing that and making sure. So if you're asking because you want to, or somebody else, communication, especially with your female significant other, and always making sure that if it's something extra, he says things like, well, I'll take you out on a special date, or make sure that that we'll do something special, or I know it might be disappointing, but do you mind? Stuff like that. To make me feel important.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you for adding that.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Thank you. That was really sweet of you. I appreciate you adding that to the conversation. That's very helpful. That's nice to know that. A Geek Devotion. So what has been the most rewarding part of podcasting? Ooh. Oh, you know what? I mean, really it's been that I feel like I regained that friendship that I kind of felt like I lost with Paul when we moved up here. And now I feel like we're just as tight as we were in college, if not more so, just because of time. I mean, he is, besides my brothers, he's the person I've known or stayed friends with and known the longest. Not kind of my dad. Like, I've known him longer than Christy. I've known him longer than any other friend that I have. So I'm glad that was not lost in just a move and then you lose touch and then that's that. Because I'm not great at keeping in touch with pretty much anyone else. So that's been probably the most rewarding thing. Second to that is having you guys as a community of people. What is this thing? Never mind. I don't know what it is. I want to keep my walkie-talkie though. I'm not even gonna look. I don't need that. This community of rewinders? It's crazy that we have like our own language. You guys can reference stuff, and it's stuff that only other rewinders will get. That's insane to me, and that just makes. I don't know. That's just a whole nother level of cool for me. So that's been very rewarding as well. Great question. Great questions, guys. Geek Devotions and Low Pain the Man. Then Low Pain the Man says, how many total hours do you spend in a week on everything? Well, streaming is usually around 3. It depends on if I stream for an hour each time or an hour and a half each time. One day I'd really like to stream longer and start earlier in the day, but until my kids can really understand, hey, you gotta be quiet now, or we have a bigger place to live, that's not really feasible now. So streaming 3 hours. One thing that Paul and I made sure to, why am I doing this gun? I want the love gun. Fall in love with me, king. I guess, maybe. Or you, sir, fall in love with the Gungineer. What is this? Oh my goodness, this is insanity. How I have not gotten hit yet, I do not know, but I'm very thankful for it. I don't know if you guys can hear the squeak toys. This plethora of plushes around this guy. So funny. Look at all those teddy bears. How can you hate me, dude? I'm giving you all these teddy bears. It's amazing. Okay, so podcasting though, me and Paul early on said, hey, let's only do this bi-weekly so we don't burn out, because that would have been sad if like 5 episodes in, this is too hard. It's just taking too much time, and I had a new baby then, so it really was not going to work unless we did it by doing it bi-weekly, every other week. So that, it depends. It used to take a lot longer, especially editing. But recently, it takes me about, I like to say it's about 1.5 times the length of an episode is how long it takes me to edit it. So I've gotten it done pretty good. So let's say it's an hour-long episode. It takes me about an hour and a half to edit it. If I don't get interrupted, it can take longer, but that's about the average. Yes, reload this thing. Then for artwork, that depends on how simple or difficult it is. Currently, for the Close Encounters one, I'm doing Devil's Tower, that little mountain or geological thing, as the art, and that's taking a bit more because there's a lot of like just natural detail in the rock that I'm trying to get, and it's not quite working. Yes, I'll just keep going. Keep going, dude. But with that can range from like 2 to 4 hours. So, and then posting stuff, that's about another hour. So grand total, if I do the math right, carry the 1, derivative of x squared. I think we're looking at, I was going to say 8 hours, but I don't think that's at 3 plus 4, 7 plus 1, 8 plus about 2, 10. So probably about, I'm fluctuating. Oh, then there's watching the movies. So another 12 hours. So it varies on whether I'm doing a podcast that week or not, but I'd say 5 to 12 hours or 4 to 12 hours, something like that. I never had to think about that, Low Pain the Man. Thanks for that question. Let's see. And then back to this awesome gun. LOL, Paul as a Care Bear is my favorite. Oh, yeah. That was an amazing... yes, what you guys put together. See that you guys come up with memes, too? Oh man, that is like my thing. I love that some of you guys have made memes of us. I love that so much. And then Geek Devotions, OMG, going bi-weekly has been great for, yeah. And you guys, I love how you've redone your intro. I keep meaning to send you guys feedback, but man, your intro and just how you've done it now, I really, really like what you guys have done with Com Talk. So check out Com Talk if you're unaware of Geek Devotions podcast. It's good. Geek Devotions, that's about how long it takes us to edit ours. YouTube video takes about 3 to 4 hours, but since I have templates set up, I can just set it up and tell it to render out. Nice. That was data about our podcast, not your YouTube series. Yeah, I figured that. What? It took you that long? Oh my goodness. Well, cool, guys. I'll wait one more minute for any other possible questions, but this has been great. Thank you so much for asking questions. I love being able to answer and not die. Man, how'd you do this? How does one do this? Okay, not like that. Oh, I see. I think I see. I have to get it right here. Okay, yeah. Man, that was lame. Oh, okay. Shoot each other, guys. No, I'm not hearing it, but I'll hand it to you in case. We're trying to determine if our kids are up or not. I don't know really why I'm wasting the ammo for this. So I love that using this, though, turns enemies into your helpers. That's really cool. Yes. Ha ha ha, you killed each other. Blah, ha ha. But I really shouldn't waste the ammo for it. Let me reload it. Oh my goodness, Francisco, stop using your blanks. Now I'll switch to this gun. Okay, so this will be the last question, Low Pain the Man. Okay, deep question time. What are your thoughts on video game addiction, true or overhyped? Oh, man. I haven't had to think about that. Let me give that a moment to ponder as I press the wrong button yet again. Apparently, I don't want to have blanks going into this boss. Blanks, for that you don't know, essentially removes all the bullets on screen and pushes guys back. So it's nice to have. Anyway, video game addiction, is it overhyped or real? I think it is true that people get addicted to video games. I don't know how often that happens. I mean, I would assume it'd be similar statistics to any other type of addiction. I think it can both be less destructive and I mean, anything that keeps you from like going to work or being in your relationships, or pretty much you give all your time to it, I think can be addictive, and anything can be like that. Don't, right? The eyes have it. Horrible joke. I think if you're talking about in the media, I'm sure it's overhyped. I'm sure of it. But I honestly don't hear much about video game addiction. I hear about that being a thing that a lot of younger people are sort of retreating into instead of seeking out relationships. I've heard that's a thing, but I haven't really given much thought or credence. No, credence isn't right. I think that's a legitimate thing. But I think that I'm more willing to buy that that's a common a common aspect of video games, that people are using it as a substitute for relationships rather than it being an addiction where people like will lose their jobs and stop eating and do anything to get their next fix of video game. I'm sure that's the case for some people, but I doubt that's as common as other forms of addiction. That's completely speculative, though. That's just my own sort of how I'm seeing the world. I could be way off. I have no statistics to back it up. If you have the data, by all means, let me know so I can be more informed. What? No, random people losing their jobs. I think that's what I said. Random loser jobs. You know, like on The Biggest Loser, your job is losing weight. That's what I meant. Wow. But that's a great question to end with. Let me see if there's any other closing thoughts there. Lopan Man. My thoughts are actually both. I wonder about my son sometimes, 10 years old, but it's also overhyped in the media. And you know what? Well, so I wonder if they thought of video games in addictive ways when I was a kid, if they were, whoa, that was amazing. If I would have been considered as having a video game addiction, because I played video games a ton. However, I did play them with my brothers. I mean, we had to share. I had 3 younger brothers, and we had to share the video game systems or play together. So I think that helped taper it, because it wasn't like I could just be enthralled all on my own. Except I woke up early, so I could do that. But in general, I couldn't just play video games and not have to worry about anyone else wanting to play. If I wanted to play, it was going to be a fight, and if I fought, then I wouldn't get to play because they'd get taken away. So I think that's a good buffer to have. So if you're worried about your 10-year-old, fight for playing games with him. That is not the advice I give. That's just a little comical thing that came to mind. Out of the way, kid. I'm playing. Your old man's playing now. But yeah, I can see it being both. That's overhyped in the media. It's a real thing. And I mean, if you're concerned about it, something that I've only recently stop using the wrong button, Francisco. Oh, I can't do anything. I don't have a key. No wonder. If it's something that shows concern, like especially if it's like affecting his grades, that'd be for me as for a young person anyways, that'd be the biggest telltale sign that it's become a problem. And for me, it never did. I was pretty much an A and B student, a 3.0 student, so if not higher. I will say I learned in academics sometimes. Ego inflating. Wow, Francisco. So yeah, if it's affecting his grades and it's hard to set boundaries with him, you may want to see if you can find a therapist or something like that might help, or see your pastor. Oh my gosh, this is a completely new boss. I've never seen this guy before. Hey, love me, Phantom Man. That's weird. Oh wait, this wasn't the boss. This is like a mid-boss. I didn't go into the boss's room. Oh my gosh, this is advanced Dungeons and Dragons. To have a mid-boss? I don't even see his life. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is the boss music and everything, so this is crazy. That's cool, though. I really like it. And got the big key. Nice. Okay. Yeah, Geeks Version says, the media tends to overhype and even cause issues. The Tide Pod issue blew up because of the media coverage. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, you're the man. You're the man. Clearly, you're Lopan the man. So here's treasure. I was like, there's a treasure chest somewhere? Stop using your blanks, Francisco. Well, now I can't use them anymore because I'm out of them. Anyway, I know that's not I definitely, I want to give that more thought. Like I said, don't be afraid to seek therapy. There's family counselors or counselors just for kids. And I mean, me and my wife found a Christian counselor that's very helpful, and she works with us on prices. So if you're worried about it from a financial aspect, see if there's someone via your church that can work with you in that, because therapy has been very valuable for me and my wife. So I'd recommend that if you feel like that's something that could help you and your son and your family, I should say. All right. So this has been Streams, Pods, and God. I have been and continue to be Francisco Ruiz. Thank you so much for listening. And if you found this content valuable, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to us on YouTube. We're at youtube.com/Retro Rewind Podcast. The only place we can't do Retro Rewind Pod, because YouTube and their stuff. Oh yeah, I should switch this. But thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.